let's go harvest some stinging nettle. Gloves, knife, and yes, this stuff can hurt you if you're not careful. This is an excellent springtime green that any new forager should learn. While yes, it can hurt you, if you come prepared, you'll be rewarded with something delicious and nutritious. When harvesting, cut the top few inches, leaving behind the rest of the plant. This ensures that the plant will still grow after you've harvested the top. You can see those stinging hairs and trichomes right here. Now be sure to save this video for later use. I'll be showing what the stinging nettle does to the bare skin in my next video.
I'ma teach you how to make stinging nettle crisps. Right, so what you got to do is get yourself down the woods, obviously. Pick some stinging nettles. Mine were near some horses, and one was actually really friendly, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, once you get back with your big old bag of stinging nettles, pick them off and stick them in the freezer. Apparently this does something, like cleans them, or something like that. While they're in the freezer, get a bowl, put some oil in it, some pepper. Try not to put that. Some salt. Ooh, some nice salt. And some seasoning. This is 5 spice. Mix it up till it's looking golden and very nice. And then you want to tip that all over your stinging nettles. Your frozen stinging nettles, should I say. Once that's done, stick them on some tin foil. Make sure your oven is warm. Put the tray in the oven for about 10-20 minutes. Take them out and they're looking creme de la creme. That's some nutty food, man.
I'm in the mood for some free salad. Let's get some. This is hairy bittercress, and it is neither hairy nor bitter. The dude who named it's on my list. It's a member of the brassica family like kale and Brussels sprouts. This is what it looks like once it flowers, and those little seed pod diddly-doos can fling seeds 16 feet away. Perfect dupe for arugula. Tell your colon I said you're welcome. Just kidding, I hate salads, but I did use it to make this bomb pesto. So you're welcome regardless. And it's invasive, please eat all of it.
So you want to go mushroom hunting, but you don't know where to start. I'd start with buying this book. It's got everything you need to know for a beginner. Next, pack a bag, but don't forget water and snacks. Wear good shoes. I prefer my logger boots, that way I don't roll my ankles. Next, you want to drive out to a nice pretty spot. I prefer uncrowded woodlands. Once I get out into the forest, it's time to just start looking around. Every time I do get out into the forest, it's like I just meditated or cleared my head, so it's always a really good experience. And that's what this account is all about, becoming closer to Earth through Mother Nature and the natural world. So this particular day I got to enjoy these beautiful scarlet waxy caps. They love the habitat under these redwood trees, and it was really a great day. Nice to get outside before the rain came. Sometimes you don't even need to look far. You can just look in the grasslands right around where you're living. For example, I found this beautiful Amanita muscaria right behind my house, so let's get outside and enjoy.
So I was walking outside my uni accommodation the other day and I started to smell this smell. I was like, kind of smells like hummus. What's that about? Well, let me tell you what that's about. Garlic everywhere, wild garlic, and I'm going to go pick some. I got my new foraging gloves that my mum got me because I'm a bad bitch. Got a wee bag to put everything in, and we're off. Fucking ecstatic about the garlic. Also, can we just talk about how nice it is where I live? I'm so lucky. I really wasn't joking when I said the garlic is everywhere. I'm not going to pick from this spot because it's quite near the road, but here's a close-up of how to tell if it is garlic. I found a little spot which was a bit further away from the road, and with garlic it's best to go for the slightly larger leaves because it allows the smaller ones time to grow up and come through. I also like to take from lots of different places so that you're not decimating one area. Secured the bag, baby. Stay tuned to see what I make. Bye!
Hey, how you diddling? So this is a trick to make a super vibrant green wild garlic oil and grab it while it's in season. And I find the best way to do this is to pick it and make it within an hour. But take half your wild garlic and just cook it in boiling water for about 30 seconds. Refresh it in cold water to stop it cooking and then squeeze the moisture out. Get that in the blender with the rest of the garlic, a good pinch of salt, and whiz up to a puree. And then slowly start to add a neutral oil into that. Something that doesn't taste of too much, whether it's a rapeseed oil or a nut oil, a vegetable oil, but something sustainable. Then the key is to strain your oil through a bit of muslin cloth, I use J cloth, excuse me, and then tie it up. And if you can, hang it and suspend it overnight. Use a cocktail stick or a skewer to achieve this, and let that oil slowly drip down through, and that's a trick to getting a vibrant green oil. Hey, how you diddling? Wild garlic mayonnaise. Get your ingredients in a bowl, give it a good whisk. I like to add water because it helps to emulsify it. And then slowly start to add in your 2 oils. So that's your wild garlic oil and I use rapeseed oil. It's important to really slowly add this until you get the emulsion. So the egg yolks are going to absorb the oil and expand and thicken the mayonnaise. The more oil you add, the thicker it gets. Keep going until you're happy with the consistency. I like that coating consistency, so when you dip things into it, you get a light coating. Season with some sea salt, lemon juice to cut through the oil, and a good pinch of, I use Kashmiri chili, but of course use cayenne pepper. That's it. Taste it again, season it, and then when you're happy, jar it up. But please remember, it's got raw egg in there, so make sure that you use it within 3 days and keep it refrigerated. Yummy.
You don't hate mushrooms. You've just probably only ever tried one kind. Let me explain. There are 3 types of mushrooms that you're likely to find in pretty much any American grocery store, and those are baby bella, crimini, and portobello. All 3 of those mushrooms are Agaricus bisporus. They're just in different stages of development. Same mushroom. You don't like mushrooms because you think the texture is bad? I can tell you as an experienced mushroom forager that not all mushrooms have even remotely the same texture. If you want to eat some real mushrooms, follow along and I'll show you how to find them.
These are called fiddleheads. This is a springtime wild edible. These are actually elephant ferns. So we can collect these and saute them. Here's some more of them, but they're not quite big enough to pick yet. Here are some more. I found a huge patch of ramps. Take a look at that. Got garlic mustard here, and this right here is cleaver. It's good for tea and good for vitamin C. But there's so much garlic mustard here, they're pretty much telling me to pick them. This is black raspberry. The leaves make a good tea. Motherwort here and stinging nettle. This is curled dock. Here's some catnip. It's a natural bug repellent. There's so many plants out here that is so worth learning about.
How to Start Mushroom Hunting Part 2. So this is the second book I use. It goes hand in hand with the first field guide I mentioned and covers everything you need to know. I always like to bring along some friends too, in case Moosh needs to fight off any bears. The mushroom I wanted to talk about today is the turkey tail mushroom, Termites versicolor. It's a polypore mushroom and it's extremely common all over the United States and California. The top can have many colors, but the bottom side has white, sometimes yellow tinged pores. These mushrooms have been used for thousands of years for their anti-inflammatory, immune system, and cancer-fighting properties. So I highly recommend doing some research and seeing what you can find out. Also, shout out to Redwood Remedy for recommending both the books that I bought and getting me into mycology. She just made a TikTok, so I'm going to throw the link down below. Go ahead and give her a follow and show her some love.
So I'm in my childhood yard foraging today, and let's see what we can find. We have a bunch of mugwort. We have some field garlic. Here we have some hairy bittercress. Tons and tons of dandelion. Remember that every part of this is edible, so don't forget the flowers. We got dead nettle as well. Some wild violets. Got some forsythia. Got some wild carrots. No edible mushrooms, not today at least. As you can see, I have everything rinsed and ready to dry. Make sure you get all the bugs and dirt off. I made a simple spring salad with vinaigrette, some forsythia violet syrup, and I'm going to use the rest of this for tea. Free food grows all around you. Happy foraging.
How to harvest a mushroom. First, pick the entire mushroom, including the stipe and the base of the stipe, to make sure that you can identify the mushroom properly. This won't hurt the organism, similar to picking cherries off of a tree. It's a reproductive structure meant to send off the next generation.
Well, if you're interested in learning how to forage and not sure where to start, I've got the plant for you.
This is called dead nettle, or purple dead nettle. It's only got one lookalike, which is called henbit. They're both edible, no toxic lookalikes, which is always a great place to start. You'll be able to recognize it by its boxy stem, the leaf patterns, and those little pink flowers. It's also edible straight off the plant.
That tastes a little rustic. They have great medicinal properties, and they're a diuretic, so I know a lot of people will dry them out or pick off the flowers and drink them in teas. One of my favorite parts of spring is making a dead nettle pesto, so give us a follow and we'll be making that next. It's the perfect day to make some dead nettle pesto, so let's grab a few and head inside. And if you want more info about dead nettle, check out our last video. Start by washing off all the little buggies. You can eat the entire plant, but here you'll see me separating the stems because we want to try them for a different recipe later. Run a quick knife through them and measure out 3 cups packed. Add that to a food processor or blender along with 5 cloves garlic, a 1/3 cup nuts, I like walnuts, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning to fight that rustic flavor, 2½ tablespoons of lemon juice, a couple pinches of sugar, and 3/4 cup Parmesan cheese. Give it a quick blend and then add in a 1/2 cup of olive oil. Plus, you may need a little extra to get the right texture. And there you have it, a delicious dead nettle pesto celebrating spring. It's super healthy and high in nutrients, and I hope you love it as much as we do.
This is Japanese knotweed. They're a very invasive plant here in the United States, and they're identifiable with the red speckles on them, and they're inedible. It tastes kind of like a mix between a rhubarb and asparagus, so it's a little bit sour. A lot of people pickle them or sweeten them, like turn them into jam or chutneys and stuff. So yeah, start harvesting because they are everywhere. Take a look. They're all starting to sprout out, and once they're more mature and thicker, you might have to peel the skin a little bit because they might be really fibrous. But yeah, go eat.
Here's another big pharma alternative. This is Arctic sweet coltsfoot. This is mostly found in northern moderate climates, and it's an important food for pollinators as the mountains wake up, so don't take too much, only take what you need. I took this one home and rinsed it off. I started by stripping those outer leaves off. Next, I chopped it into little bits. This allows the plant to infuse with whatever carrying agent you choose to use. Next, I put it in a glass weck jar, and I add local bee honey, but I imagine you can use agave too. After letting this sit for some time, you can strain the flowers and use this syrup for these benefits. Subscribe and turn on notifications on YouTube for more in-depth content.
Let's drink some wild Yaupon holly. The leaves have caffeine. American Indians use this to make the black drink.